Welcome to All the Horror Podcast. Each episode will feature a spine-tingling, creepy horror story that will keep you awake. Enjoy the story.
Have you ever encountered a long-lost family member whose unsettling presence shook you to your core? Hi, my name is Haley, and I can't sleep. Thoughts of a disturbing encounter haunt my mind, refusing to release their grip. Let me recount the events that unfolded, casting an eerie pall over the celebration of my estranged father's birthday. In the northern state where I reside, the biting cold of winter often paints a bleak and desolate backdrop. Yesterday marked the birthday of my biological father, D, a man who had long since abandoned my sister and me during our childhood. Raised by our stepfather, his absence had become an indelible part of our lives. Nonetheless, with a sense of obligation and curiosity, my boyfriend A, my younger sister K, and I decided to celebrate his birthday with D's side of the family. These circumstances were far from ordinary. He had been homeless for years, willingly choosing a life devoid of comfort or stability. Unfazed by the frigid temperatures and frequent snowfall, he resolutely clung to his unorthodox lifestyle. Despite knowing where he had been staying, a makeshift shelter amidst a junkyard concealed beneath a camper shell, my Aunt AR embarked on a search for him. The day of the birthday celebration, Arkansas, ventured to the familiar location, only to find the once familiar abode reduced to rubble by a bulldozer. D had vanished without a trace. Undeterred, Arkansas scoured the town, hopeful of discovering his whereabouts. Frustrated by her futile efforts, she eventually retreated, driving 30 minutes to the house of my Uncle G. Even in D's absence, we decided to proceed with the birthday celebration, aware that time was slipping away. AR, however, pledged to resume her search for D as it was on her way back home. Little did I know that the night held an unsettling reunion, bringing together individuals whose paths had long diverged. A had never met D before, and our relationship of a mere 7 months had not afforded him the opportunity. Intrigued by the prospect, he expressed a genuine curiosity about this enigmatic figure from my past. Shortly after arriving home, my phone rang, and AR's voice pierced the silence, abruptly pulling me from the threshold of sleep. Urgency and disbelief colored her words. She had located D. Without a moment's hesitation, we rushed into my car, the biting cold gnawing at our senses. The 30-minute drive seemed to stretch infinitely as anticipation intertwined with trepidation. Our destination, a closed Denny's restaurant. The deserted parking lot contained only our 2 vehicles, accentuating the sense of isolation in the frigid night. As I switched off the engine, D emerged from the passenger side of my car, an enigmatic figure stepping forward to meet us. Hesitant and uncertain, AK and I cautiously exited the vehicle, exchanging tentative greetings. AR, acknowledging the lateness of the hour and the responsibilities awaiting her at home, promptly bid farewell, slipping away into the night. Left to our own devices, D beckoned us, his voice laced with mystery. Want to see my old house? Seeking reassurance from A and K, who nonchalantly shrugged their shoulders, I agreed to this peculiar request. The 4 of us climbed into my car, but instead of sitting beside A, D claimed the passenger seat, forcing A into a momentary state of unease. As my engine roared to life, warmth began to fill the cabin, accompanied by an overwhelming scent of dirt. But this was no typical earthy aroma. It was as if the very essence of soil was being propelled through the air. An unsettling realization settled upon me. This scent emanated from D himself. Steering the car out of the parking lot, we embarked on a journey into the heart of my father's past and the chilling unknown that lay ahead. Arriving at our destination, an immediate sense of foreboding gripped my soul. We disembarked, guided by D into the seclusion of a wooded area, a deep ravine concealed beneath the gnarled branches of looming trees. As D proudly showcased his makeshift domain, paranoia insidiously began to consume me. Every fiber of my being yearned for escape, sensing an impending catastrophe. Instinctively, I persuaded D to resume our conversation within the confines of the car, and to my relief, he agreed. Once safely ensconced within the vehicle, I couldn't shake off the mounting unease that had woven its web around my every thought. Hastily, I locked the car doors, desperate to create a barrier between us and the encroaching darkness. Intently listening to D's words, my eyes met his, only to be met with a disturbing sight, wide eyes brimming with an unsettling intensity, as though he were peering into the depths of my soul. My instincts screamed at me, urging a swift departure from this unhinged presence. I masked my unease beneath a veil of normalcy, as desperation churned within my gut. D's ramblings took a sinister turn. He proclaimed himself a savior, a harbinger of cleansing. Unnerving words spilled from his lips, describing how people sought his guidance. Then, a chilling sentence pierced the air like an icy blade. One day, I'm going to do something, and they're going to shoot me in the head. My heart dropped, and with that revelation, a wave of pure terror crashed over me. Determined to sever our ties with this fractured soul, I parked at the end of the street, watching as D exited our car, uttering words of familial affection. As soon as he vanished from sight, I accelerated, tears streaming down my face, my body racked with sobs. The journey home was a blur, consumed by a conversation with A about the insanity that had unfolded before us. A deranged gaze, an ominous exchange that resonated with each passing mile. Now, as the clock strikes 2 a.m, sleep eludes me. The haunting memory of those eyes, peering into the depths of my soul, lingers. It was as if he possessed an ability to read my thoughts, to uncover the deepest recesses of my being. Some may discredit my tale for lacking the overt horror of other stories, but for my own sanity, I needed to unburden my soul, to share this bone-chilling encounter that defied rational logic. The darkness that cloaked my father's mind, the unpredictability of his words, and the imminent danger he seemed to pose, all these elements merged into a terrifying concoction, leaving an indelible mark on my psyche. Days turned into restless nights, plagued by haunting thoughts and an unrelenting sense of unease. Each time I closed my eyes, the image of D's wide-eyed stare seared into my consciousness, as if etched into the very fabric of my being. The unspoken question lingered. What did D mean by his ominous proclamation? Was he planning something malevolent, an act that would lead to his own demise? Reluctant to confide in my loved ones about the depths of my fear, I sought solace in research, desperate for answers that would provide clarity to this disconcerting enigma. Late nights were spent scouring the internet, delving into the shadowy corners of forums and articles, searching for any semblance of explanation. Amidst the countless tales of familial fractures, hidden horrors, and inexplicable phenomena, a common thread emerged: the concept of the prodigal family member, returning with malice in their heart. These tales spoke of twisted souls, driven by a dark purpose, their bloodline serving as a catalyst for devastation. The parallels to my own story were uncanny. Haunted by these narratives, I became consumed by an overwhelming sense of guilt. How had I fallen victim to Dee's charm, allowing curiosity to override my instinctive unease? What dark secrets had I unknowingly invited into my life, tainting the very essence of my existence? The fear that Dee's presence may have unleashed an irreversible darkness upon us all gnawed at my conscience. Weeks turned into months, with each passing day intensifying the weight of uncertainty that gripped my soul. Sleepless nights gave birth to a state of perpetual exhaustion, blurring the lines between reality and the sinister realms of my fractured mind. The words Dee had spoken echoed in the depths of my nightmares, like a haunting melody that refused to fade. In an attempt to regain control, I reached out to A, my confidant, desperate to share the burden that had consumed me. Together, we embarked on a mission to uncover the truth, to confront the demons that lurked within my family's darkest corners. We delved into Dee's past, unearthed fragments of his shattered life, and connected the dots that had eluded us for far too long. As the pieces began to fall into place, a chilling revelation emerged. Dee had not only severed ties with his family, but he had also embraced a malevolent ideology, a twisted belief system that advocated violence and destruction. His ramblings about being a savior and cleansing the world took on an even more sinister significance. Driven by a newfound determination, A and I reached out to the authorities, sharing our concerns and fears. We provided them with the information we had gathered, hoping that it would be enough to protect ourselves and others from the impending storm. In the depths of our hearts, we knew the danger was real, and we refused to be passive victims of this dark descent. Days turned into weeks, and with each passing moment, the tension mounted. The authorities, armed with our testimonies and the disturbing evidence we had gathered, launched an investigation into Dee's activities. We waited anxiously, our lives consumed by a constant state of vigilance, acutely aware that our actions had set in motion a chain of events that could bring about salvation or destruction. Finally, news reached us. Dee had been taken into custody, his dangerous plans thwarted before they could come to fruition. The weight that had burdened our souls began to lift, replaced by a glimmer of hope. Though scarred by the encounter, we had triumphed over the malevolence that had threatened to consume us. Life, in its unpredictable nature, slowly resumed its course. The nights no longer held the same ominous whispers, and a semblance of normalcy returned to our fractured existence. Yet, I knew that the darkness we had faced would forever linger just beneath the surface, a constant reminder of the fragility of familial ties and the horrors that can lurk within. As I reflect upon that chilling encounter, I realize that sometimes the truest horrors are not found in the supernatural or the macabre, but within the twisted depths of the human psyche. The lessons learned from my brush with darkness have left an indelible mark on my soul, forever altering my perception of family, trust, and the fragility of the human mind. So, dear listeners, the next time you encounter a long-lost family member, tread cautiously. Embrace your instincts, for they may serve as a beacon, guiding you away from the abyss that lies hidden within the depths of familial ties. Trust, but always remain vigilant, for the darkness that dwells within can be far more terrifying than anything we could ever imagine. And remember, in the realm of horror, the scariest stories are often the ones that strike closest to home.